Hey Capricorn, and welcome to your bi-weekly reading. So we are taking a look at the period of time from the new moon on December 12th in Sagittarius, that is in tropical astrology, and then to the full moon on December 26th, so just after the Christmas holiday if you're somebody who celebrates that. Right, so during this period of time, we are looking at the waxing phase of the moon. So each month we have this beautiful opportunity. I'm just like feeling a lot of shuffling for you guys. Ooh, I wonder if that was, okay, anyway. So we are taking a look at the waxing phase of the moon, and each month we have this opportunity to, for an approximate 2-week period of time, take advantage of building energy, and then for an approximate 2-week period of time on the other side of that, from full moon to new moon, to see like what is like needs to go, is outdated, it's like, okay, I need to release this, I let this go, or what projects do need to be like actually launched and released and things like that. So these are the types of things that we're looking at. So with the waxing phase, I pull cards for these readings to take a look at what area are you being drawn to, told to focus your time, energy, and attention into that would be of the most benefit, that would have a ripple effect that would benefit all areas of your life, right? Ooh, I like it. So forgive I had to film at this time of day. I just didn't have any other time to do it. And it makes my nice black velvet turn charcoal. So I hope that it doesn't blow out the images too much. So that's what we're taking a look at, right? Is like which areas of life are really coming forward. So, and the one that we see coming up for you is the 12th house. It's a really interesting house to have at this particular time of year. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it might feel more intuitively like that makes sense because this house can feel very solitary. For some people, it can feel lonely, but if you're consciously choosing to work with that part of your, natal chart, with that part of your life, I think it can be more empowering, just depends. But this has to do with your mental and emotional health, right? This is a house that is often associated with also like spirituality in the sense of like, not necessarily like our beliefs, but more like the all-encompassing oneness that we feel with like life or the universe or the world. It has to do with altered states of consciousness too, right? So this can be like meditation or medicine journeys or things of that nature. So, but it is a very solitary kind of time. This is a period where I would say, like, if I were going into any kind of 12th house period, it's a time for like a lot of reflection, maybe going on walks in nature or taking time to be alone and to feel into like, what am I feeling now? I feel like this is actually really apropos for the end of the year, right? Like, there is this, like, whether you're somebody who is like, you feel like you relate to the whole like Gregorian calendar, New Year starts on January 1st and goes forward, or if you're someone who's like, actually the winter solstice feels like the new year, or the spring equinox feels like the new year, there is this collective turning of the page that happens. And so regardless of like what you feel about that, there is this kind of like collective feeling, there is this moving things over, and there is a, the quarters of the year are broken up and fit very nicely into our modern package. But also, if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the winter, and so we are in a period of time that feels kind of more inward in a lot of ways. For some of us, it's a little bit harder, right? Like there's always like a holiday party or something like that going on, and then there's the holidays themselves and all this stuff. So it just depends. Even if you're though in the southern hemisphere, I would say like the end of the year, maybe not seasonally, it may not feel that way, but just the end of the year and that collective turning of the page that I was mentioning could feel like this time of review and reflection. And I just see that like you're really being asked to take stock of like, what has happened this year? Like, where did you think you were going to be going in 2023, and like where have you come to, and how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about your life and who you are and the trajectory that you're currently on, and does the trajectory that you've laid out for yourself still match what you're feeling and wanting for yourself now, right? So this, I think, can be a really powerful time. So even if you are someone who is like busier because of, you know, like for instance, I'm traveling to see family for the holidays and, you know, things of that nature, right? So like, even if you're someone who tends to be busier around this time, it starts to get hectic, find some time, some space to like carve out for yourself. Even if you're traveling to see family, like at the end of the night when everyone's gone to sleep, take 10 minutes in the bathroom, lock the door to yourself, right? Like whatever it is you need to do to have some time to maybe just feel into these areas, and whatever you can do to take care of your mental and emotional internal states, right? Like to really care about the health of these areas of your life. I would say this would be of really great importance. You know, adding to this new moon energy and like kind of the reflection aspect of what I'm talking about is that, you know, a few hours later, so the new moon, I think I mentioned, yeah, oh, I did mention that, yeah, right. So sorry, I've been doing these videos back to back. So, you know, with that Mercury retrograde that's happening a few hours after the new moon, it's like we even more so are being asked to be in that space of reviewing and revisioning and revising any of the details, like looking at the fine print, looking at the details, looking at our plans, right? And seeing like, oh, like actually I think that I would have missed this. This would have been a hiccup later on. And now I can like make adjustments now before the year actually begins, or, you know, whatever it is. So sometimes in doing some reflection in this way, we might see that, oh, actually how I feel about this, right? Because it's such an internal house, how I feel about this and what I'm thinking about this now is like, maybe I do want to adjust my plans or make room for things like detours to happen in this particular area of my life in a different way or whatever it is, right? So with that card, we also have the Justice card coming through. You know, I feel like this is very much about like, yes, fairness, equality, diplomacy. Of course, justice is really all about that. I do feel like this can also be about, especially if you're doing that kind of reflection, just kind of seeing for yourself like, hey, maybe there are some things that I feel like need to be addressed in terms of like what has felt fair or unfair in certain situations, you know, and maybe I need to communicate about that and do that in a way that is diplomatic and fair to myself, to the other party or parties that are involved, and being true to yourself, you know, but being true to yourself in a way that, like, the thing is that this is ruled by Libra, and Libra is a Venus ruled sign. And I feel like there is this justice and fairness and diplomacy in like to the like for what end, like to what end is to have harmonious, balanced connections with other people, right? To have something that feels like healthy and balanced and fair and harmonious, right? And so I feel like that is a big part of what I'm seeing show up here. So just some things to consider. I hope that this feels like it makes sense for you. For those of you who are wanting to book the year ahead readings, you can do that down below. So if you want to book the year ahead tarot reading where we go through each month and we look at the themes for each month over the course of the year, or if you're wanting to do an astrology 2024 reading, we can look at the year ahead. And also for those of you who are like, I want to do this for planning purposes, we can really look in ahead at like just the first quarter or the first 2 quarters of the year if that feels the most helpful for you. So you can do all of that down below. I would say if you're wanting to get in before the end of January, I would do that soon, just because of the schedule. Like it's pretty full with travel and whatnot. Like there just maybe not as many spaces. So I want to make sure that you guys get in on that if you want to do that. So I think that is everything. Oh yes, actually last thing, you may have noticed it's been a little quiet around here. I had to, because of my schedule being so full, reassess like what I could realistically put out in terms of like content between now through the end of the holidays and into the beginning of 2024. Besides like travel and appointments and stuff, like there's just a lot of other stuff on my plate that I can talk to you guys about on the other side of the holidays, just not at the moment. So but yeah, with all of that, I needed to kind of see realistically what I could still realistically do. And monthly videos are on pause until probably February or March. If I can do it sooner, then I will, but like February or March, it's probably going to be on pause until then. And for the astrology highlights, I'll be doing those in kind of like little tidbits where I have time to, until especially after the new year. So just so you guys are aware of that, I hope to be on a regular schedule with that as quickly as possible. So thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. Make sure to send this to a Capricorn and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.